Tonight, an issue special presentation. Broken justice. We're focusing on the nation's criminal justice system. Is there a two-tier system in this country? One for the rich and famous, and the other for the poor and powerless. We'll look at some outrageous celebrity cases and examine whether they got special treatment. Back to our issue special investigation. A lot of people are trying to bring awareness to issues involving our criminal justice system. One person is actor and producer Mark Wahlberg. At 16 years of age, Wahlberg was prosecuted and incarcerated as an adult. He turned that experience into a documentary called Juvies, which profiles 12 youth offenders at a Los Angeles juvenile hall.
I'm in here for attempted murder.
140 years, double life.
I'm 17 years old. I'm facing a life sentence.
I didn't know why they were killing this girl.
Back to my superb panel. And Steve Kardian, former criminal investigator and director of Defend University, joins us, as well as CNN legal analyst Lisa Bloom. Steve Kardian, you're kind of representing law enforcement here. And listen, we're all pro-law enforcement. I'm for throwing dangerous criminals like child predators and rapists and murderers in the slammer for good. I think what we need to do is make the penalties and the punishment and the incarceration time for those serious violent offenders longer and stronger. And stop funneling all these kids who had the mistake of being born in a poor neighborhood and or a minority neighborhood and are growing up in the projects, and they end up getting sort of, I would say, funneled into the criminal justice system for crimes that are really not violent crimes. These are kids making mistakes who have impulse control, Steve Kardian. What do you say?
Yeah, Jane, I think that I agree with Lisa. I agree with you that we should decriminalize marijuana and let officers, law enforcement, have their resources dedicated to more serious crimes. In most states across the country, the mere possession of marijuana is the equivalent of a speeding ticket. Take a police officer off the road for 2 hours to process such a minute violation is a waste of our services and good efforts.
And Steve Kardian, there's a vicious cycle. There's a vicious cycle here. And part of the vicious cycle is when these kids get out, they've got a scarlet letter around their neck that says that they've been incarcerated, so nobody wants to touch them. Nobody wants to hire them. Nobody wants to interact with them. So really the only solution they have in many cases is to engage in criminality, to support themselves, and then they're rearrested. It's a vicious cycle, clearly.
Yeah, in law enforcement, we see early intervention as a primary focus to get them help. And without the early intervention, I think that they will get lost in the system. Once they're in the system, understand the job of a police officer in law enforcement is to arrest you and have you go before the criminal justice system for the crimes that you've done. We need early intervention in the schools during the process from the time that they're arrested until they are released back or returned back fully into society.
Welcome back to a special issues investigation. We're shining a light on our nation's broken justice system. It is a two-tiered system, a double standard. One set of rules and outcomes for the poor, another for the rich and famous. If you've got money, you get to hire a legal dream team to get you out of whatever trouble you're in.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson.
O.J. Simpson, Lindsay Lohan, Robert Blake, just a few of the celebrities who many believe benefited from a judicial double standard. Think they would have beaten the charges against them if they only had a public defender fighting for them? My favorite example is Lindsay Lohan. Her legal problems really highlight the celebrity double standard of justice, which also applies to the rich. The actress was arrested for DUI in 2007 after a truly bizarre high-speed chase through Malibu. According to 3 men who were with her that night, Lohan jumped into the driver's seat of an SUV not her own to chase down her assistant's mom. One of the guys says Lindsay drove over his foot as she tore out of the parking lot with others inside the SUV. Lindsay allegedly reached speeds of 100 miles an hour. At one point, she allegedly told the guys, quote, "I cannot get into trouble. I'm a celebrity. I can do whatever the blank I want," end quote. You know what? She was right. She could have faced a laundry list of charges, felony charges, like carjacking, kidnapping, and assault with a deadly weapon. But in the end, Lindsay was charged with DUI and drug possession for the cocaine cops say they found in her pocket. She ended up serving 84 minutes in jail. Steve Kardian, had she been a minority young male from the inner city, wouldn't she have faced a whole slew of charges and ended up undoubtedly doing hard time?
I think that she would have been treated differently. I think that she should have gotten time. But when we look at cases like this with celebrities, Jane, we have to look at jurisdiction by jurisdiction, agency by agency, judge by judge, and system by system. Look at Plaxico Burress in New York City when the Manhattan DA's office wouldn't cut him a break for that gun charge and sent him to jail for 2 years, no questions.
2 years. I would do is encourage 12-step therapeutic counseling with sharing in the public schools so that these kids get to deal with their emotions so they don't have to act on them. I would teach peaceful, nonviolent conflict resolution. I would teach anger management before they're sentenced, before they punch, before they hit.
Jane,
everybody stay right where you are. More Broken Justice in a moment.